Dr. Bill Janishak on another episode of Conquering Stress podcast, and I am just so stoked today on bringing you guys the cutting edge. You know, I'm always out there trying to look at everything, and we know that stress is physical, it's chemical and emotional, and so we try to cover topics that will relate to you on those specific things because they all go together. If we want to be not only not sick, but we want to be healthy, and then if we want to live at optimum level, it's the same formula. How are we balancing our physical with our chemical and our emotional stuff? And we can put those in. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about more the chemical. So today we got Kim Ressler, and she runs Nutrigenomics. I'm still learning on the word, Kim, and and she had it was her own health journey. And just like me with my epilepsy and stuff, how I overcame that and made me passionate about what I do today. Kim had the same issue that a lot of you are, because I'm with you. I'm listening to you guys, and you're having the same issues. Through her persistence, her run through fire in a gasoline suit attitude, and finding out, wanting to find the truth, because traditionally she was just kind of screwed, like a lot of us had been. And I want you guys to imagine what it's like that if you knew exactly what your body needed to thrive without the guesswork. And we're going to go into that today because a lot of us had, you've been to the doctor and the doctor looks at your blood work, pokes you on the head, kisses you on the forehead, and says, "No, you're fine." And you feel like shit. And you know there's not something right, or they tell you it's normal, or it's just your age and stuff like that. We live in an age of AI and Google and Wi-Fi and things to measure everything that we have going, and it's time to dive into a little deeper. So, Kim, I would love for you to share your story so they get to know they're not alone.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Bill. It's so great to be here. I love that you're on the mission to help people because that wasn't the case for me for 11 years. So I'm delighted to be here and talk about it. Ultimately, I was in my mid 30s. I will proudly say I'll be 53 next month, but I was in mid late
Nice.
30s. And I was pregnant with my last baby girl. I have 4 children, and they saw something interesting. I went to an endocrinologist. I'll make the story short, but literally, I spent once a month for my entire pregnancy at the endocrinologist office. He was doing blood work. They saw something off, and then the numbers would be fine. They'd go up and down, etc. Anyway, after the delivery of my daughter, I'm not I didn't have postpartum depression. It wasn't that. That's what people wanted to tell me I had. I just didn't feel good. I was chronically fatigued. My sleep was terrible. And so off I was to find answers. So I love genetics. That's what we're going to talk about a lot today. But now knowing what genetics and epigenetics mean, epigenetically, that's what our lifestyle is. I was
Okay,
already
share with the audience what epigenetics is.
Okay, epigenetics is it's your lifestyle. It's the food that you put into your mouth. It is the exercise that you get. It is your source to higher connection, whatever that may be. It's your mindset, right? I mean, if we think negative thoughts, I mean, we're going to be more negative people, right? It is clean water. It is, again, moving our bodies. We have to move our bodies. We weren't intended to sit constantly. So I was doing everything epigenetically correctly. I was eating very clean. I first started with trying to different things. I went Ayurveda, saw an Ayurveda practitioner. I went on a complete Ayurveda diet, trying to pull it together because it was the fatigue was so terrible. I didn't want to get out of bed, but I wasn't depressed, and I was a very social, outgoing person. So I was literally masking everything. I was trying so hard to be everything, but I was just crushing. It was crushing me inside. Then I did crazy cleanses. I was trying to reset my system. What could I do? Whole foods only. We were eating very, very clean. Still, what didn't know what was going on. Um, Spent the first 5 years with that endocrinologist. He after the pregnancy, still never uncovered what was going on. I kept down my path. I started different treatments, electromagnetic therapy, you name it, I was doing it. Naturopaths, oh, you have adrenal gland fatigue. Suddenly, a girlfriend of mine, this was 2014, she reaches out to me and she says, we're talking, and she says, my son has ADHD and they believe, and it's really causing problems at school. I refuse to put him on medication. And I think it lies in his genetics. I was like, that's interesting. I knew nothing. Here we are. We are 11 years later from me first hearing this. And at that point, I was living up in Idaho. We have gone back and forth between Southern California and Idaho. And I didn't have access to that provider that she was seeing. So I just said to her, please keep me posted. Tell me what happens. I need to hear. Uh, it did. It took her, I think, $10,000, 9 months. They were looking at the child's genetics. They're looking at one specific gene at this time.
Hmm.
But they addressed it with nutrients that this child needed in a specific format. And then they took him off of gluten. And I said, what happened? Night and day difference. Wow. I was like, that spurred the light bulb in my head. But then again, we were still in 2014 and I was throwing darts at a dartboard with a blindfold on, not knowing, still working. Nobody was looking at me and understanding the what and why behind me. So when we did move back to Southern California, my husband said, when are we going to do this? When are we going to start this process? And I said, oh, hold on. I said, $10,000 in my 9 months. I said, that is ludicrous. I'm sorry. I said, timing's not right for us right now. Kids off to college. I have 3 adult children right now and one that's a junior in high school. So we just had things going on really, kind of crazy at that time. A couple days later, this amazing technology that I have had the pleasure of working with for the last 7 years now landed in my lap. And it was the ability to cost effectively, inexpensively look at your genetics, map them for you, and create a custom solution. And at that point, I still didn't even know what was going on with me, but I was desperate. And I know that there's the placebo effect. I do know that because you want something so bad. Oh, I had tried so many things. I just wasn't getting, doing a very specific cleanse for 30 days. I'd feel a little bit better, but it didn't last. It
It wasn't
wasn't
moving the needle for you, huh?
it wasn't moving the needle. And I would go to the doctor, your blood work looks great. You're fine. Et cetera. And that's another thing we can just talk about. I mean, in reality, and I see this all the time, blood work, and we've got to mirror and match our blood work with how we feel. And if you're not feeling well, it may not show that possibly that way, that snapshot of time in your blood work, but things like, the normal range of your vitamin D serum levels, they were low. They were low, but standardly low range. I mean, what is the standard blood work on vitamin D? Is it
30,
25?
30 is what medically what they call net lab normal, which is the RDA, which is the amount of vitamin D that the average person needs to not have rickets. Women, such as your age, like that, you can't process new bone, which is a big thing in perimenopause, menopause, and stuff like that, until you have a minimum of 50. And when they go into get their blood work and they say, oh, you're fine, and not even taking into effect the epigenetical stuff on that. How much stress are you under? How much sunshine are you getting? Does your gut doing this? Do you have enough fat in your diet to process the thing? They never ask the questions.
You're right, they never did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just that. I mean, I couldn't get standardly, they wouldn't look at all of this. That was an extra blood test. That wasn't standard. But when I found out, I mean, like my vitamin D serum levels were in the teens. They were in the teens. No wonder I mean, just so many things. Vitamin D in general. And so now I'm going to say something kind of technical, and people are going to go, what? Vitamin D impacts over 6,000 pathways in our body. That is everything, right? I mean, that's so many things to make you. And if you don't have enough of it, and it's a fat soluble vitamin, so it's something that it's a consistency kind of thing. If you don't have enough to do all these functions, I'm sorry, but the teens are not enough and 30 isn't enough. So ultimately, when I discovered the technology that I work with, it was life changing. And because I haven't told you about the rest of the symptoms through those 11 years,
Oh,
in my
do
young
tell.
40s, do tell.
Do
Okay.
tell.
So besides the chronic fatigue and the terrible sleep, then came on the chronic bloating, always bloated. And it's embarrassing to say constipation, but chronic constipation. I wasn't getting rid of what I needed. My husband and I would laugh about how many digestive enzymes I had. I was, I mean, I probably had every digestive enzyme off the shelf at the pharmacy that you can possibly imagine, trying to help myself. Do you know how miserable that is? And then it was utterly shocking. Again, early 40s, standing in a Macy's as we were redoing a house, and I was buying towels. My little girl at this point, 6, 7 years old, I don't know. Anyway, she looks at me and she goes, "Are you okay?" It was my first hot flash. I
Uh,
went white, I went red, sweat speeding down me. I feel like I'm going to pass out. Hello, I'm in my early 40s. And I'm like, and the lady behind the counter was older, and she goes, "Are you okay, miss?" And I go, "I think I just need to sit down for a minute." So you understand. Then came on the night sweats. I mean, the symptoms just kept compounding. And it didn't matter what I was doing. I was doing, like I said, electromagnetic therapy was great. It worked great. But that was me going into a clinic 4 to 5 days a week for, I think it was 30 minutes to an hour. I love that machine. And it would help, but I still didn't feel good. I didn't feel good. So when I finally saw this technology to be able to look at your genetics are your blueprint. It's what you inherited from your mom and dad. And I loved, and we have what we call actionable genes in there that literally dictate what nutrients you need, why you need them, in what format. And I thought, aha, why isn't everybody understanding this from the get-go? I mean, if there's so much science behind this, why isn't somebody putting all this together for people? We should know. We shouldn't be guessing. We shouldn't be guessing. And I found out, and this is for all those moms out there, when you're pregnant, they tell you take folic acid. Take folic acid, take folic acid, take folic. You need it. It's for neural tube defects and the development of the baby, et cetera. Do you know that I can't process and convert folic acid? They say
like a
40,
lot of people, like a lot of people.
they say 44% of the population can't, but I will tell you, it is more like 70 to 80%. I mean, with the 8,000 DNA report reviews I've done, it's more like 80%, unless only people are coming to me to really like they already have this issue, but it's a lot higher. So that's why you're seeing that they're trying to remove folic acid. It is fortified in our breakfast cereals, store-bought breakfast cereals, foods, etc. If you had a Ferrari and it needed premium unleaded gasoline in it, would you put diesel fuel into it? This is what we're doing to ourselves. It would kill it. It ruins our engines. We need our engines functioning at high capacity. And if there's so much science that lays around the fact that I can't take and convert that, wouldn't that
It,
be good to
and
know?
there's not really a good blood test because they're not going to find that in the lab
Right.
as effective. And a lot of the things are homocysteine is one there, which has to do with heart disease. There's your body's propensity for inflammation, and it's brought down on you. And like I said, there's the epigenetics, which literally means above genetics, because sometimes I'll get patients in Oh, I have back pain, I have stomach pains, I have brain issues because, oh, it's just genetics because they went to their white coat hero and they prayed at the altar of that and they said, oh, it's your genes. And then they just give up because they're going, well, mom had it. I have no choice. And they're taking all their personal power away and they stop looking because if it's normal, I can't do anything about. Why would I waste time and energy on doing something I can't change? You know, please, Lord, give me the knowledge to know the things that I can change and the things that I can't. And we're getting sold a bill of goods that at one time, like I said, we didn't know. We had no capacity to find this out. But now when we have this technology and we're still getting that same answer, it's like going to the doctor and say, well, you know what? You just need more leeches. Let's just bleed some more stuff out of you because we've always done that for the last 100 years. So let's just keep doing it. In the meanwhile, we're suffering more and more because of even the people who are making the right decisions. Everything, the food and the soil is all jacked up, and the air and the water is all jacked. Everything in our foundations of of health, and just like you, if you were, people are trying to do the right thing and say, well, you need vitamin D. Oh, well, great. Well, my genetics just don't make that enzyme enough to process everything that I can. Because I've had patients go, I'm taking, 20,000 units and I'm still low. Why is that? I'm like, okay, well, let's look at your fat and let's look at this and like that. And I can't see genes. And I'm gonna tell you something I don't think I shared with you. Um, you were introduced to me by Glenn Depke, who's a wonderful friend of mine, and I would say wonderful things about him if this wasn't recorded, and I couldn't deny it. But he and I we were both speaking at his menopause event, which is excellent. And I said, well, who's speaking? Oh, Kimmy, she does personalized nutrition. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, oh, your genes. And it was like 15 years ago or something like that. There was a small company that was claiming to do that. And I remember I'm like, oh. But then thinking about the technology, and after I heard you speak, I'm like, this totally makes sense. And you're using real science instead of like bro science. Like, well, you know what? Like if we have better genes, man, then we could just do more. We're gonna find it out. Um, Actually, go on and explain nutrigenomics.
So
What?
if we could step to epigenetics, really,
Oh
because you
yeah,
made
sure.
a
Yeah,
comment
jump
really
in.
quick. I want to explain ultimately genetics and epigenetics. And if you think about this, um, we don't when we're born, we don't, and how genetics can impact us when we're born, unless we have an extra chromosome or a true like condition. And we don't, what I do is not to go after disease or anything like that. But if I'm born with something, you know, that's different. But we don't come out of our mother's womb with chronic inflammation, gut issues, biases. We don't come out of our mother's womb with that. That's what we are impacted by life. So, those genes that what I like to play with are what we call actionable, which mean they can turn on and off and you can support them. We're not going to go in and change them. We are always going to have them. So you made the comment a minute ago, and I used to say it too. And the first time I did my genetic test and I saw it, and I had all these markers on heart health, and I was like, oh, it was a little for a minute, it was scary, but then again, it was an aha moment, and it wasn't scary when I saw the heart markers. That was my grandmother, that was my grandfather, but now I work with actionable genes, and specifically nutritionally actionable genes. So I know specifically what I need, why I need it, in what format, in what dose. My company simply puts it together and cost effectively and efficiently, to ultimately offset or to give the body the propensity to function at the highest level. That is what is
Reach.
so key. Preach. So what we focus on actionable genes. We have the ability to come in and cost effectively do a genetic test that's completely HIPAA compliant. I'm not doing whole genome sequencing. Again, just actionable genes. We look at the heaviest hitters that impact us in aging. Um, Remember that aging, suddenly you've got that inflammation. Do you have that propensity to? Oxidative stress. How's your body handling that? Let's see, I said inflammation. Does your body have the ability to detox properly? Does it methylate properly? In other words, those B vitamins in the right format. Then how do we process stress hormones? Um, that vitamin D receptor. We have genes that line up with all of this of how our body takes and utilizes nutrients. So, in the olden age of genetic mapping, you'd go to a geneticist. You would spend thousands of dollars, and they'd map your genes, and then they would out the door. You would go with 5 or 6 supplements. You'd go back the next month. They would line you with 5 or 6 more. Now you're up to 12. You're up to 12. You'd go back another month, and you'd map some more, and you'd see how you were feeling. Right? We don't do that. We simply and easily can hit pathways that impact cognitive and brain, mood, inflammation. As I sit here and think about all the genes, heart health, body mass index, etc. And it's this magic that it creates of one nutritional foundational product that supports the body. What happened to me when I did this for myself? It was first energy, it was sleep, it was better digestion. I felt good. I mean, I just felt good. When you feel good, you do better, right? Um, Guess what? Remember, I did say I'll be 53 next month. I don't have hot flashes and night sweats. I don't have the standard symptoms of menopause, and I am full on in it. And I know that from blood work. Blood work is a snapshot of time.
Hmm.
So even if your blood work looks normal, and it's interesting, I just talked to somebody the other day and they said, my blood work looks normal. Why would I ever do this? Do you take supplements? Well, yeah. Okay. I mean, do you feel good? No, I don't. I don't know then. Give it a try. You try it for 3 or 4 months. See how you feel. I mean, the commonly reported things are energy, sleep, etc. But everybody's different. I have seen the wildest responses. As we never knew used to have those food allergies, and suddenly we're sensitive. Well, that's gut health and inflammation in the body, and you correct those things, which you really can do without having to break the bank or spend 26 hours in a 24-hour period. Um, it's that's what we're bringing to market is the ability to look inside of you, what you need, why you need it, in what format, in what dose, with what proper cofactors, and put it together for you cost effectively, efficiently, et cetera. I've made it my mission, my entire purpose in life. When I saw this technology, I came out of retirement. I want to educate people on the power and promise of this for the future. Um, it is, I mean, now, did I go all those years undiagnosed with an autoimmune? Yes, I did. Do I have symptoms now? No, I do not. Do I feel amazing? Yes, I do. Do I take any pharmaceuticals? No, I don't. I mean, that's truly, again, that's my story. Everybody's different.
Well, it's amazing, and that's the fact is that everybody is different, and I talk for decades now about diets. So there's no perfect diet for everyone. And oh um they talk about this even with when they were bringing up the vaccines. So pro against I don't care, but when they were mandating vaccines for everybody, you can't do that because everybody's different, more sensitive than other ones. When we don't even have foods that we can all eat, how are you going to do different chemicals? And I say that to say this is that our bodies are creating different chemicals because that's how we run. And if you're not, if I'm more sensitive to inflammation than you are, then I'm going to need different pathway. We may all need, B and vitamin C and all this other stuff, but maybe in different ratios because the demands on our lives are different. what I've seen, what was wonderful with you is you're leveling the playing field when you come out. So everybody's starting from a solid foundation. And if you do everything else correctly, that's all you need, really.
Right.
But then life comes in. So what if we have special needs? We're night shift workers. We're elite athletes. We're someone with 4 kids and 16 sports schedules and a dance schedule that's going on, and you're running on caffeine and meth or something like that just to keep you going because the demands are different. So if you don't have that baseline, it's like spinning plates. You're going to drop one of those things. And to have those specific things is unbelievable, which brings me to something that I want people to, their ears to perk up because finally I'm getting patients that are messaging me, "Hey, have you ever heard of the MTHR gene?" And I think because Gary Brecka blew up on 10X Health talking about, I had the same video reel sent to me probably about 7 times in 2 weeks. "Hey, did you ever hear of this thing? What is this?" And was can you explain, because there's a lot of people out there with that this is affecting a lot of special needs. Can you explain the MTHR? You don't have to
MTHFR.
you can share with what they call the gene or not, but it's
Okay, so it's the MTHFR. So
they'll get this. That's right.
they call it the mother effort for a
Yeah.
reason. It looks like it, right? Um, Basically, it is our aging process. It turns it in simple terms, and people are like, "What's that?" It turns on and off everything in our bodies. Um, it, it's why your body has the propensities. So if you Google, I always tell people, just Google MTHFR gene mutation symptoms. Here you go. I'm going to give you a quick list that you're going to get. Anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, women in childbearing years can't get pregnant, spina bifida, common and recurrent miscarriages, chronic aches, chronic pains. I mean, the list, detoxification problems, the list goes on and on. It impacts a lot of things. It really does. And it is very important. And those are the B vitamins in the right format. It is folate. It is, but it's not just that. It's cofactors. So this is where we get in back into that right B vitamins, right? But we can't just address methylation. We actually have to also in tandem with that. So if you're doing that already, that's fabulous. But to get the full benefit and effect is you need to be addressing oxidative stress and inflammation in your body as well. And you will have a much better response and a much just all the way around. So people want to go after one gene, one gene, one gene, one gene. It's not one gene. These are systems. They all start working together. I believe they call that polygenic. Genes don't play alone. So when we're hitting all of these amazingly foundational systems in our body, and you support at a cellular level, healthy cells equal healthy tissues, equal healthy organs, equal healthy human. That's just true, right? So if you can see, if you are really having a problem with oxidative stress and you're trying to address methylation, you're not going to get the result. The body will go after that oxidative stress first. Oxidative stress. People say, what is it? Well, oxidative stress happens all the time in our bodies. What is it? That nail sitting outside in the rain, getting rusty. That is what's happening. How is our body getting rid of it? Is it sending out the epoxides or particulate matter or the byproduct of the things the body's doing? Is it sending it out through the right pathway that we can excrete it the way we're supposed to or not? So hope that I hope I didn't get too technical.
No, no, that it's perfect because I can't think of anything in the body that works solo. And if you look at anything, is how you digest food is going to be how you're going to process in the liver, and how the liver processes is going to go back, and that's going to go back to brain health and where the neurotrans. And it doesn't happen, and that's why I'll ask people. I said, "So are you taking supplements?" "Oh yeah," and then they start going, "I take A, B, K, niacin," and they'll just pick out these other things. I'm like, Okay, well, why are you doing that? And they have a paradigm, and I call it the green pharmacy. I'm going to take this vitamin for that thing because I read that, B vitamins are good for nerves, and I have a nerve problem. And I'm like, well, okay, but you actually have an inflammation problem because that's why the nerve is too. So, so it's breaking that paradigm. So everything works together, and we try to tear it apart in an age of experts, where an expert is somebody that knows more and more about less and less until pretty soon they know everything about nothing. And and we get lost in the weeds, and sometimes we got to take that 10,000-foot view and go, okay, here's the baseline. Here's the cards that I'm dealt. How do we maximize our intention of that? And it's by what we specifically need so we can start to express ourselves, whether we're going to cure cancer. We want to be the best wife or husband that we can. I want to be the best left-handed bunter on the Angels because God knows they need help. And or I want to just be a great child of God. I want to be the best version of myself. It doesn't really matter. And when I talk about with my patients, even on this podcast, we take care of the meat suit because the meat suit that we have here carries a spirit, and the spirit is the things that you want to do, the emotions that you have, the reason you get up in the morning to do something for other people. And if you can't move effectively, if you can't move energetically, you can't help other people. And we don't have that internal energy. And now we have the ability to go truly at the root. It doesn't get much smaller and more detailed than your genetics. And I think what you're doing is wonderful. I'd like you real quick. I'm going to respect your time a little. I don't want to respect it too much because I could just pull information out of you all day because it's so flippin' interesting. But so we got, okay, well, I'm born here and I'm doing this, and maybe I have challenges with gut or something. But what if I don't have any symptoms? I'm actually feeling good. I'm an elite athlete. I know people that are MMA champions, boxers. I do a lot of my CrossFit homies are trying to do that. Um, Football player or just high school students. I'm trying to get a ride to a D1 school. How is this going to help them?
How is this going to help them at a cellular level? Recovery, energy. What's the body doing? I mean, that's my husband. My husband will tell you, he doesn't feel things, but he can see differences in other ways, if that makes sense. But
Mhm.
in recovery for that athlete, long term, just like I don't care, when you are a high level athlete, there's stress involved. How are you managing that? Again, remember, we weren't born with these things, but life, stress, the food we eat, etc., makes things either turn on or off. So if we can start with the genetics and understand the what and why and get that foundation really strong and keep it strong and keep supporting that individual. Am I the end all be all? No, but I'm you at a foundational level on all, like, so many systems in your body.
Yeah, and it's funny with athletes because I try to convince my patients and my clients is that we need to treat you like an urban athlete. An athlete will tear down like how they tweak their left arm 4 degrees to maximize the muscle flexion so that they can get the because they're dealing with a lot of times like tenths of a second that they're trying to get out. So they go out and they do the details. And imagine that if your cardiovascular fitness was maybe you were running at 92%, but you thought it was 100%, and your recovery was actually at 84%, and you still have, another 16% of recovery. And when you're dealing in these micro things and you compound them, they're they're awesome. Because the other thing that's interesting, if you take a lot of times, if you take an elite athlete and a very sick person, and you just looked at their blood work, they look a lot alike
Right.
because it's natural to have this oxidative stress. But what are you doing with it epigenetically? And if you don't have the foundations, you're going to perform different. So before we follow up, you got anything else that our wonderful audience needs to know?
No, just think, I think it's the day and age. We are here in the day and age that we all should have access to personalized solutions. That is what is so important. And you also, your patients probably already know this, into your hand. You have to be your advocate. That's scary, and that seems to be a lot. I mean, but it doesn't have to be. We all know what we know until we know something different, right? On this path. But again, there just being aware that your genetics could be dictating a lot of things in your body and your sleep, your digestion, your energy, just the key components just to functioning every day. Not even being that top level athlete. I mean, that's where we're coming in at, is to simplify all of this. um, we educate both consumers and providers on this because not everybody's going to be some world-class geneticist. They're just not. And they truly don't need to be. I mean, to be able to understand this is me. So my passion again is just to continue to share that this technology is available, it's cost effective, and it's efficient.
Yeah, that's the greatest thing. And I don't recommend anything that I haven't tried.
Right.
Um, I'm doing it personally. I get my family on this stuff. Um, I know Glenn is he's been doing it a month or two or something. And so I'm all in. This is the next level. Anybody that's serious about their wellness, not only their health care, but their awesomeness care, to maximize what you have, because we're all going to run through issues. And
I was gonna say
uh,
there's so many, and there's so many amazing supplements out there, and you see this ad, and they're like,
oh
oh,
yeah,
like you said, oh, I'm gonna try that, and oh, I'm gonna try that. If you're gonna, I mean, there's expensive stuff out there, very expensive.
yeah. So let's pull back the curtain a little bit, is
Yeah.
because there's a great upcharge in supplements in the world, and your stuff is maybe 10% more expensive than a good multi-day, multi-mineral, and an omega, which is the baseline that I use. I tell everybody that they should be on, but maybe 10% more for far and away more things more effectively and specifically for you. And be clear, is when I say specifically for you, it's not like they measured you and then they have a lot of choices and they pull yours off. It's like yours.
Yeah, we literally, that is what makes us so unique. I have the technology to take and read your genetics, and I know specifically based on 22 different genes that ultimately impact a lot more than that, but there's redundancy because remember they don't play
Yeah.
alone. Um, but and formulate to the microgram just for the individual, all into one. So there's no fillers, but it's literally made, the jar is made with an individual's name on it. And it's batch tested after it's made. I mean, this isn't like you going in and buying a supplement off the shelf.
Yeah, and there's no oils to run it through the machinery. There's no fillers to get the capsule filled up high enough so that it can get through, the testing period, or the weighs enough so that when they put it on, they can measure it through the. So all the dirty little secrets are not in this. I just picture you at your kitchen table putting things together. Oh, here's Dr. Bill's stuff. I got to need a little bit.
No, it's not that. It's very expensive equipment and very expensive machinery that literally starts reading, it reads the formula, it starts dropping it in, goes to a scale, tells you how perfect it is, goes to the next hopper with dropping in the nutrients to the microgram, and it keeps doing that all the way down. Hopper, weight, scale, hopper, weight, scale until it finishes. It looks like a rainbow because of, I think I've got upwards of nearly 80 specific nutrients that I need in my formula. And they're all put in, and like I said, it looks like a rainbow watching this machine, and then it goes to the blending process. It's pretty fascinating. So we're taking it the step beyond the compounding pharmacy. We're compounding for you.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. So I'm going to put the link because I'm going to encourage everybody. And I don't do that a lot. Like I said, I don't like to say everybody. In this case, I'm going to say everybody. And if you go to snipnutrition.com,
Doc,
was that backslash Dr. Bill
no, / Dr. Bill.
forward slash. Sorry, I'm just used to backslash.
That's okay.
Um, we'll have that down. Click on that and check it out, and then you have a fact sheet and everything else. This is a game changer, and I like bringing this out because I don't. This is your first time with Conquering Stress podcast. I'm not Joe Rogan. I use these specifically for the people that I meet, people that meet me online. They want more information because they're, hey, my back hurts. What could this be? My stomach hurts like this. And I get to have these conversations because I'm a big geek. And when I find people that also share the love of geekdom, and we get to have these conversations, um, we can share them. So if you're listening to this, I want you to actually subscribe. I'm starting to actually promote this now. Share this with somebody that you know that's been having challenges with something for a long time, or somebody that you know that is so into their health that they're always the ones on the cutting edge of stuff. And just look at this, and I can't see. There's no downside. This is the new This is the new iPhone. Before the iPhone, there was little stuff that we played around with, and we did that. This will soon be in this. This is going to be on everybody's shelf. Where's my vitamins? Where's I'm taking care of my health? Everything, like you said, is going towards personalized health care. And
Yeah, I think it will be the day and age that when you walk into the pharmacy, the supplement aisles will be very small. Is it to say that, oh, maybe you know, your child came home sick, so you want to take some extra C, and or something like that. But other than that, no, everything else is going to be customized, and you should demand that.
well, yeah, that's it. That's exactly what we do. And if you're not convinced about personalized healthcare, think about what it's like to go to maybe a major HMO and try to schedule an appointment, and you're only allowed to schedule an appointment per body part, or it's another one to get your copay, where you just run through this algorithm and you'll come out the other side either better, worse, or the same, but that's their only job. Versus finding what specifically you need. We're right on top of things. This is for you. This is not even for your children because you're not even because they only got half your DNA. So everything's specific, and if you, I said, if you care enough, there's there's no more cost. It's not like we're not buying a Ferrari, or we're not well, you are buying a Ferrari, but not at a Ferrari price. You're buying it at a Hyundai price. And so I can't say I'm so excited to have this conversation with you and share this with you and get it out there. And I'm a fan. I'm a fanboy. Oh my God! Oh, this is so wonderful. So I'm excited about this next thing, not only for my page but for myself. I want to see how this is going to. So I can't wait for my. I'll do blood tests in probably another 3 months, and
I
we'll.
would say 6. That red blood cell cycle is about 6 months. So once you get on your custom formula, give your body a good 4 months, 4 full months. 120 days is a red blood cell cycle. We're going to when we address genetics, we are going to the cellular level.
Yep.
So, and a red blood cell cycle for your body to turn everything over is about 4 months.
Yeah, 120 a day. I generally go quarterly, just I've been doing that for years and just to kind of see what we're doing. But it's there's Pearson's law, and that states when, when you measure things, they improve. And when you measure and report them, they improve exponentially. And so I start doing that with so I'm, writing down my workouts and my macros and my sleep and uh, my blood sugar. So we'll keep it going. But I'm excited. So if there's anything that we can do to help you, you reach out. I think would be interesting sometime just to do a live class. I mean,
Yeah,
these are great. I love doing the podcast because I can, it's convenient. But one of the times, since you're an OC local, I'm an OC local, we can like totally hang, dude, and then
yeah.
like help some epigenetic folks going on, totally bust it.
We can help people step into biohacking themselves.
Yeah, exactly, and understand what's going on. So
Absolutely.
I thank you so much, and I thank you guys for listening because this is a good episode. I mean, all my episodes are good. Uh, some are just better than others. But I really want you guys to share this and jump on board. And uh, if you're excited about it, if you're thinking about it, just click on the link and then you have all the resources going on. So up until then, this is Dr. Bill Janishak with the Conquering Stress podcast. I'll catch you next time.